People at my church, you can't get another divorce. Oh, yeah, I can.
Oh, I left him alone first. No, I left him alone first. No, you the fool. No, you the fool. I've been working for Steve Harvey for 24 years, doing bodyguard work. I've met everyone in the business. Hey, man, I'm living the life. But I'll be the doctor till the doctor comes. See, I didn't know how to read and write. Guess what? I just wrote my third book. I spent half my life breaking women's heart, and I have the key to women keeping their heart attached. I was a womanizer. Now I'm a woman advisor.
Have you heard the latest news about Marjorie Harvey? There's chatter about her getting a bit too close with her bodyguard. Now, some are saying this bodyguard has got some spicy photos of their hangouts and might even send a few to Steve Harvey himself. Although Steve and Marjorie recently said everything's cool between them, it looks like there's more to this story. Keep an ear out because this drama isn't over yet.
Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine.
The bodyguard everyone's talking about? That's William Big Boom Freeman. And here's a twist. He's been Steve Harvey's sidekick for quite a while. But diving a bit deeper, it appears guarding big names isn't the only headline in William's past. Before his time with Harvey, some say he dabbled in some not-so-above-board activities and might have used his influence over certain ladies to boost his own status. But the chatter doesn't stop there. Some insiders hint that Williams setting his sights on a sizable payout, with a stash of rather revealing photos as his bargaining chip. If these snapshots hit the spotlight, it could stir the pot for Steve and Marjorie, and might even put a dent in Steve's image as the nation's beloved family advocate and relationship guru. Back in 2005, Steve's love life took an interesting turn. As he was wrapping things up with Mary Shackelford, he and Marjorie began making waves. For those who need a refresher, Steve's parting with Mary wasn't the easiest. She slapped him with a hefty $60 million claim, citing reasons like child endangerment and a contract breach. Mary also spilled that Steve's decision to take their son had taken a toll on her emotions, pushing her to rely on meds to lift her spirits for several years.
Financially, my life is in a shamble. That is absolutely true.
In the midst of all the turmoil with Mary, Steve found himself back on the singles scene. Here's an interesting twist. In 2005, Steve's very own bodyguard played matchmaker, rekindling the spark between him and Marjorie. And guess what? It's rumored to be the same bodyguard now caught up with Marjorie in a web of whispers. Some say he's holding some compromising evidence over the couple's head, looking for a payday. Word around town is that Steve and Marjorie might just be considering meeting his terms to keep their names shining bright in the spotlight. Everyone's ears have perked up over this juicy scandal recently. Can you believe our very own relationship guru, Steve, might be navigating rocky waters in his marriage? The chatter is real. Steve and Marjorie are, of course, trying to keep things on the down low, but guess who's at the center of this whirlwind? Yep, that bodyguard again. Rumor has it, he's got some insider info that might shake things up even more for the couple. If the rumors are to be believed, Marjorie might soon be looking for a new address, and Steve? Well, wedding bells might be in his future yet again. You might be scratching your heads about the turmoil around Marjorie's rumored close encounters with not just the family bodyguard, but also their personal chef, especially while Steve's out and about doing his thing. Despite Steve and Marjorie waving off the divorce chatter, this narrative doesn't seem to be winding down just yet. Rumors circulating is that the bodyguard might have a few, let's say, captivating snapshots of their moments saved up. And if Marjorie doesn't hand over a sizable amount, we might all get an unexpected photo gallery online. It seems Marjorie didn't anticipate the roller coaster that followed her alleged side escapades. Clearly, she's keen on ensuring Steve's career and reputation remain intact. After all, his success has provided them with those dreamy vacations and a luxe life. Ever since Steve's gaze met Marjorie's, it wasn't about simple dinner dates or beach strolls. He upped his game, knowing she had a taste for the finer things. As Steve often fondly reminisces, it was love at first sight for him back in 1987, when he first laid eyes on Marjorie. It seems the whirlwind of rumors has put a dent in Steve Harvey's reputation as a relationship guru. Some folks are now wondering if he may have missed a beat when he chose Marjorie as the woman of his dreams. A bit of friendly advice for Steve, and maybe a tip for his next book? If a lady's been involved with both a guy and his cousin, perhaps she might not be the best bet for unwavering loyalty. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Sometimes those who give relationship or family advice are the ones grappling with challenges in their own personal lives. Not everyone's private life mirrors their public persona. Here's an interesting fact. Some people are speculating a deeper connection between Marjorie and the Bodyguard. Why? Well, it turns out that this same Bodyguard was the bridge between Steve and Marjorie after all those years since they first met. Steve, the charismatic Family Feud host, once shared, "When my bodyguard handed me his phone back in 2005, I didn't know who was calling. But the moment I heard that familiar voice, it felt like the universe aligned." From then on, Steve was set on ensuring Marjorie stayed in his life. Even getting wind of her adventurous tales from yesteryears didn't deter him. In fact, just a few years down the line, he made sure she had a ring to show for their love story. It seems as though Steve may have put his trust in the wrong crowd. Many feel that he's the real one getting the short end of the stick here. There's even rumors suggesting Marjorie and the Bodyguard might have been partnering from the get-go. If the whispers are to be believed, all these threats and underhanded tactics might actually be targeting Steve more than anyone else. Steve's commitment to Marjorie was evident when he embraced all her kids as his own, even going as far as giving them his last name. However, this gesture seemed to open the door to a whirlwind of unexpected events and discussions. Before the glitz and glam, Marjorie's life was quite different. There are claims that before she became a recognizable name in the socialite and fashion world, she might have been involved in some not-so-legal dealings alongside her ex-husband, Jim Townsend. Taking life's challenges head-on, Jim has expressed interest in penning down his life story. Interestingly, he's hinted that a good chunk of his narrative was drafted behind bars and promises to shed light on Marjorie's alleged involvement and her mysterious avoidance of any repercussions. No one wants to face the music, especially when it's an off-tune song from the past. With the talk of Jim Townsend's revealing memoir potentially shaking the pristine image of Steve and Marjorie, it's said that Steve pulled all his strings to ensure the book never saw the light of day. The stakes were high, and neither of them wanted that kind of attention. Initially, Jim was keen on sharing everything, mentioning, "The book's nearly done. A good portion was written while I was behind bars. I have a story to tell, regardless of who knows." Yet, later on, Jim's tone seemed to change, hinting at Marjorie's perceived betrayal. He opted for discretion, particularly out of consideration for their kids. Speculation is rife that a substantial settlement might have been reached with Steve and Marjorie to ensure Jim's continued silence. Reflecting on their journey, Steve candidly remarked, "I think Marjorie and I found each other at a time when we'd both experienced our fair share of relationship ups and downs."
I think what happened to me and Marjorie was we got together at a point in our life where we had both failed at this miserably. And it just wasn't. Failure wasn't an option.
Despite their past relationship challenges, Steve remains firmly by Marjorie's side. Now faced with a new obstacle in the form of the Bodyguard's alleged threats, it seems Steve is contemplating a diplomatic resolution. Having navigated many controversies before, some even claim he had previously resolved issues involving his second ex-wife with both money and influence. With such precedents, many wonder if he might dig deep into his pockets to ensure any supposed evidence of Marjorie's indiscretions remains private. We'll be watching closely to see how Steve and Marjorie tackle the recent claims from the Bodyguard. Given the Harvey family's resources, many believe they could easily resolve the situation quietly. Some are even saying that this might be a moment of reckoning for Steve, recalling his past relationship decisions. One comment that caught my eye said, "Sometimes life's lessons come back full circle. Experiencing betrayal firsthand can be a humbling teacher." Another chimed in, "With all the behind-the-scenes dealings in the industry, let's just cross our fingers and hope for the Bodyguard's safety, especially with the upcoming book release." What are your predictions for the Harvey duo? Will they manage to navigate these turbulent waters, or might this signal a change in the winds for them? We'd love to hear your take on it. While you mull that over, you might want to check out some other stories we've covered related to the Harvey family.